Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're traveling back thousands of years to ancient India today, checking out two absolute powerhouse philosophical movements that literally changed the course of human history. We are, of course, talking about Jainism and Buddhism. Today, we're going way beyond just giving the basics of Chapter 11. We are going to really unpack the brilliant minds of their founders, figure out what their core teachings were actually all about, and then see exactly how these two incredibly distinct paths stack up against one another. It's a fascinating comparison, so let's get right into it.
To really grasp why these movements were such a big deal, we have to set the stage. Ask yourself, why did totally new religions suddenly arise in India in the first place? Well, picture this. During this period, the dominant Vedic religion had become intensely ritualistic, and I mean highly complex ceremonies and sacrifices that were becoming wildly expensive and incredibly exclusive. For the average everyday person, spirituality was basically locked behind a massive paywall. They felt completely disconnected. People started craving a more personal, accessible path to spiritual liberation. They wanted real answers about human suffering and karma, answers that didn't require them to fund costly rituals just to participate in their own faith. This deep, widespread hunger for a totally new direction is exactly the spark that paved the way for thinkers like Mahavira and the Buddha.
So here is our roadmap for today. First up, we'll cover Mahavira and Jainism. Second, Buddha and Buddhism. Third, we'll put both philosophies head to head. And finally, we'll wrap up with a quick exam checklist to make sure you've locked in the absolute essentials.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Mahavira and Jainism.
That number 24 is incredibly significant context here. Mahavira is widely recognized as the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism. Now, if you're wondering what a Tirthankara is, think of it as a supreme spiritual teacher, a savior who's completely conquered the endless cycle of death and rebirth and essentially builds a bridge for others to cross over and follow. It's a super common misconception that Mahavira just woke up one day and invented Jainism out of thin air. He absolutely did not. He actually revitalized and formalized a much older tradition, ultimately becoming its most prominent, defining historical figure.
So, what did Mahavira actually teach his followers? He laid down 5 extremely rigorous core principles that dictate every aspect of a practitioner's life. First, and arguably the most famous, is ahimsa. This is nonviolence, but on a level you might find hard to imagine. It's so strict that devoted followers would literally sweep the ground in front of them as they walked, just to ensure they didn't accidentally step on a bug. It is a profound commitment to not harming any living thing. Then we have satya, which is absolute, uncompromising truthfulness. Next is asteya, meaning non-stealing. After that is aparigraha, the practice of total non-possession or detachment from material wealth. You basically let go of owning things. And finally, brahmacharya, emphasizing celibacy and intense sensory restraint. When you put all 5 together, the overarching theme is ultimate, uncompromising self-control. Through this extreme discipline and non-violence, the goal is to burn off all karma and achieve total liberation. It is an intense, demanding path.
Which brings us to a really fascinating turning point in the timeline. If Jainism was already out there offering this highly structured, rigorous path to spiritual liberation, why did Siddhartha Gautama, the man we know as the Buddha, feel the absolute necessity to step up and present a completely different philosophy? What was missing in the spiritual landscape? Why did he look around and say, actually, we need another way?
That perfectly sets up Section 2, Buddha and Buddhism, and the search for the middle path.
Siddhartha Gautama looked at the universal problem of human sorrow, and he approached it almost exactly like a master physician. The result of this was his foundational teaching, the Four Noble Truths. Think of it like a medical diagnosis. Step 1, the diagnosis itself. You have to recognize that suffering simply exists. It's a part of life. Step 2, find the underlying cause. The Buddha identified this cause primarily as human desire, craving, and our relentless attachment to things. Step 3 is the prognosis, and it's surprisingly optimistic. Realize that this suffering can absolutely be stopped. There is a cure. And finally, step 4, the prescription. You cure that suffering by actively following what he called the Eightfold Path. It's a brilliant, highly practical, step-by-step framework for hacking your own mind and achieving lasting inner peace.
But the crucial concept that bridges all of his teachings together is Madhyam Marg, or the middle path. Honestly, this is the defining characteristic of Buddhism. You see, instead of embracing the extreme asceticism and severe physical self-denial of Jainism, or going the other way into the indulgent materialism of ordinary everyday life, the Buddha advocated for total balance. The middle path is all about cultivating right thought, right conduct, and right livelihood without punishing yourself.
It is heavily focused on moderation. The genius here is that by avoiding the extremes, he made spiritual progress sustainable, practical, and truly accessible to anybody, not just radical ascetics.
Moving right along to section 3, let's stack these two ancient powerhouses up against each other and look at the similarities and differences.
I want you to imagine two totally different extremes of human behavior. On one side, you have someone living a life of total luxury, endless indulgence, just zero restraint. On the far other side, you have someone subjecting themselves to extreme hardship, starvation, and severe physical penance, which, by the way, aligns very closely with the strict asceticism we see in Jainism. Buddhism looks at both of those individuals and says, nope, neither of those is the answer. The Buddhist middle path deliberately, intentionally steers entirely clear of both of those extremes to find true equilibrium and mental clarity. It's a completely different vibe.
When we break it down feature by feature, their relationship becomes super clear. On one hand, both of these movements strongly emphasize living a deeply moral life. They are both intensely focused on the concept of karma and share the exact same ultimate goal, liberation from the cycle of rebirth. They both stepped up and offered a much-needed fresh alternative to the heavy, expensive rituals of the Vedic traditions. But when it comes to actual, day-to-day practice, that's where a massive divergence happens. Jainism absolutely insists on extreme asceticism and rigorous physical discipline to burn off that karma. Buddhism, on the flip side, completely rejects the physical hardship, prioritizing mental discipline and moderation instead. Basically, they are driving to the exact same destination, but they are taking two completely different highways to get there.
All right, finally, section 4, the exam checklist. Let's get you ready for that test.
If you're a BA first-year history student and you're preparing for your exam, consider these concepts your absolute non-negotiables. First, you must know Mahavira's 5 principles by heart. Memorize them. Second, you need to deeply understand the core of Buddha's teachings. Specifically, be able to confidently list and explain the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. And perhaps most importantly, you need to be able to write a really strong comparative analysis outlining exactly what we just talked about. Focus hard on that stark contrast between the extreme asceticism of Jainism and the balanced middle path of Buddhism. Master these specific points, and you have officially mastered Chapter 11.
I want to leave you with one final thought before we go. We don't just study history to pass exams, right? We study it to understand the human experience. These philosophies were hammered out thousands of years ago, yet they are dealing directly with anxiety, desire, and the search for inner peace, things every single one of us is still actively struggling with today. So ask yourself, when you are facing the chaos of your own modern life, which strategy actually makes more sense to you? Do you find strength in the rigorous, uncompromising self-discipline of Jainism, or do you find more practical, everyday wisdom in the balanced, moderate approach of the Buddhist middle path? It's something to really think about. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.